So I've been having tons of fun on Crushing Hands that is actually zooming you around the map, basically teleporting you exactly to where you want to go by just holding down a button, while also being able to just straight up tank almost everything. So Crushing Hands right here is going to dash you to every enemy that you hit through the Measured Ravager right here, which is going to be permanently active on your character as long as you keep attacking because of Prodigy's tempo resetting your cooldowns over and over again, which is going to make you dash to the target, and that is going to become a very fluid playstyle, which I actually really like. Then on top of that, for the resource solving, we go with the Rod of Kapeleke, which makes our core skill, in that case Crushing Hand, also a basic skill and free to cast. So you basically never have to worry about resources just for casting. We do have to worry about it for damage, but that later in the video. Very important here, the Rod of Kapeleke can be anywhere on the left side of your character. It can be on any of these slots. It can also be as an intermediary solution on your weapon slot, but ideally you want to move it away from the weapon slot because a normal weapon is just stronger. So you can see here that we're basically already eliminating the resource costs for the core skills by making them basic. But then on top of that, we're also having to refuel our resources because whenever we hit max resource, we are going to spend all of those due to Kapeleke right here and then deal more damage. So now we need to trigger that effect as often as possible. And we do that by doing the Beast Cornered right here on the unique Chaos Pork. Every time we spend resource, which is the Kapeleke effect, we drain a percentage of our life equal to 30% of the resources spent, refunding those resources. This has two effects. Not only are we going to be low life all of the time, which is actually beneficial, and I'm explaining during the defensive side of things, but also we are getting resources back, and that is actually going to help us out tremendously to refuel the Rod of Kapeleke. On top of that, we are fueling the Beast Cornered effect because we need to have life to be able to drain so that we can restore. So not only does, so now basically our life becomes our resource because Beast Cornered is basically switching or taking the HP and moving it over to resource. So now we need to worry to refuel our resource. For the Rod of Kapeleke, we need to start worrying about refilling our health as quickly as possible so that Beast Cornered can basically swap it over to resource to fuel the engine. We do this in multiple ways. For example, we do have the Undying right here on the pants, which is going to heal us every time we cast a skill for 5% because this is doubled when we are below 50% life, which is basically always the case. Then on top of that, we also have Scourge on our bar, which is with the lucky hit effect going to have a chance to lifesteal 30% of the damage done. So we are back to refueling our life, which then Beast Corner takes and swaps over to resource, which is actually going to, or is actually a really interesting playstyle in my opinion. And then that's also why you see me using skulls in our armor, because they give healing received, increasing the healing that we're getting from Undying and from the Scourge effect. And on top of that, we do have adaptability, which has two good effects. Not only are we going to increase our damage when we have a lot of resource, but also we're getting a little bit of primary resource once per skill when we use a basic skill, which is our Crushing Hand. So that is involving, or that is helping with resource gain as well. And since we're healing a lot, I also swapped in Starlight because I really feel like this is a very comfortable way of increasing your damage tremendously without a mythic unique. Basically, you would want to have Starless right here, but Starlight, in my opinion, actually feels way better, not only to set up, obviously, but also to play. Starlight makes it so that when you heal 20% of your life that you heal, you get 40 primary resource. Usually Starlight, or back then Starlight, got tremendously nerfed because when you would be at full health, you require 120% life over healing to get those 40 resource. But since a Beast Cornered is basically keeping us all the time at low life, and Mad Guard is not even allowing us to go above 50% HP, then we basically always trigger the juiced version of the Starlight, which basically gives us 40% primary resource for every 20% of our life that we healed. So we can get tons of resource that way. On top of that, we could also use the Jacinth shell either as normal unique, or you could use it as a chaos unique on any of the slots when you find this. This has two benefits. Not only do you get the armor cap way easier, but you also get more healing from the effect every time you spend vigor. This is going to drain your HP as well, but you don't even notice this because you're at 10% HP basically all of the time anyway. And then actually a third benefit is also damage reduction while injured, which is always the case. And now when being low life, you can see that we are running around with 5k life tops. When I'm healing here with the healing pot, you can see we go up to 5.2k, but since we're draining all of our HP all the time, you can actually see that our HP is extremely low. That is where the barrier actually comes into play. And this is first and foremost being generated by Crushing Hand itself, because Crushing Hand grants a barrier equal to 10% of the damage dealt for 2 seconds, up to 40% of our max life. Then we also run a lot of barrier generation, for example, with Mad Guard right here, which gives us more barrier generated. And also our Gorilla ultimate fuels us with even more barrier generation, basically making it so that we are always at tons of barrier, as you can see right here, at full max life barrier. So if you increase your max life, you basically increase your HP still, because our real HP is our barrier. And this is actually really beneficial because we are generating so much barrier per second that we are basically unkillable. As you saw in the clip at the start, I'm basically tanking the world boss stuff without being killed. It's very rarely that I die. When I die, I basically was looking at chat, or I forgot to press one of the buttons, which is actually just a player mistake and not the build's fault, because you can sometimes dash into a boss where nothing is up, but that shouldn't have happened, because you should have casted the ultimate in front of you, then got the barrier, and then you can actually engage the boss. Then on top of that, due to being at, as I said, basically 10% life all of the time, we get additional damage reduction from a beast cornered, which right here is the 5% damage reduction for every 10% life that we're missing. And on top of that, as I said before, we could also be using the Jacinth shell, which is certainly very valid when you are trying to assemble the Exodia combo. Basically, if you find a Jacinth shell, this is certainly going to make you much more tanky and also help you fuel the resource generation. For the offensive part, we obviously make use of all of the available chaos uniques. Here again, it does not matter where you put those. I have the Sepasontic on the helmet, which gives our basic skills 144 multi, which is obviously also including Crushing Hand. Then we do have the Harmony of Ebawaka, which gives us the 48% per spirit type they have. As you can see on our Crushing Hand, it has Gorilla, it has Jaguar and Eagle. Because we are running the Jaguar Spirit Hole and the Eagle Spirit Hole, adding 2 of the spirits to our Crushing Hand for a total of 3, resulting in a huge multiplier for Harmony of Ebawaka. As you can see right here, the Hesha A Kazungi is currently not even a Chaos Armor. I'm trying to get Fists of Fate on the boots so that I can do a big swapperoo of putting Hesha on one of these 2 slots, putting the Fists of Fate of one of these 2 slots, and then the rod onto the glove, so that I have full Chaos Armor everywhere. But with that, I was actually able to clear a 107 very comfortably, even without super min-maxed gear. And as you can see right here, also my masterworks are not even, or are far from perfect. Then for the offense, we also sum up all the chance for Crushing Hands to extra hit or deal double damage that is present on the weapon, that is present on the Rod of Kapaleke here with chance for core skills to hit twice, and it's also present on the Sepasontic. Those 3 values together shouldn't go over 100%, because you don't get anything after you are over 100%. If you want to directly min-max that, that's perfectly fine. I personally don't really care if it's 100, 110 or 120. I try to not go insanely overboard, but I don't see the reason of like giga min-maxing it right now as long as we don't have leaderboards in the game. And then a very important thing for the offensive engine is that is redirected force. Very important here is to get the double multi from redirected force, so not only the 62%, but actually double the value. You need to get, you need to block because that doubles this bonus for 10 seconds. It's very important here to let counterattack, which gives you a 100% dodge chance and is basically permanently active, as you can see right here. You need to let that fall off, which you can see with the green bar here, because this is giving you 100% dodge, which means you cannot block because you're dodging everything. So you need to strategically get hit once every 10 seconds so that you're doubling your redirected force, because you're going to have 100% block chance through Armored Hide being constantly active, which means you let counterattack fall off, you get hit once, block it with Armored Hide, and instantly get your counterattack up again. I had an absolute blast playing Crushing Hand, and I'm very happy that it's back super strong like it is right here. If you want to read up more on the build guide, make sure to check out the build guide from Maxroll down in the description below. And if you like content similar to this, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time.